Good morning, students. This is our third lecture of our second chapter, that is Physical Features of India of Geography. As yesterday we have finished the first topic of Physiographic Division of India, that is the Himalayan mountain. Today, let me start our second Physiographic Division of India, that is Northern Plain, which is also known as Ganga Brahmaputra Plain. Students, you know that this plain or vast region which is filled with silt and alluvial soil. The northern plain lie to the south of the Himalayas above the Deccan Plateau. It is spread over an area of 7 lakh square kilometer. The plain is 2400 kilometer long and 240 to 320 kilometer broad. Remembered, the plain has 2400 kilometer long and 240 to 320 kilometer broad. No doubt it is very fertile regions of our country. They are formed by the interplay of three major river systems, that is the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. It is agriculturally productive due to rich soil, adequate supply of water and favorable climatic condition. No doubt, as I have told you, that it is one of the most productive region of our country and one of the most densely populated regions of India. Now the question arises here is that how the interplay of Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra river form this vast region. Actually, all the three rivers have their origin in the glaciers of the Himalayas and are perennial rivers. Actually, the rivers which have water throughout the year is called perennial, remembered, and the river which are filled during rainy seasons are called inundation river. This perennial river bring huge quantities of silt and are engaged in depositional work. In its lower course, the speed of the river decreases, which results in the formation of riverine islands. Majoli in the Brahmaputra river is one of the example of riverine islands. When it reaches the sea or ocean, it forms a delta. It is a vast alluvial plain, triangular in shape. They are joined by a number of tributaries, that is a small river and streams joining the main river. In their lower course, the river splits and forms distributaries. The river brings large amount of silt and sediment, and its lower course, silt is deposited and river splits into numerous channels. These channels are called distributaries. Through this, our vast or stretch northern plains are formed. Actually, the northern plains are divided into three main sections, that is Punjab, Ganga and Brahmaputra. The plains of the North India are divided into three main sections, as I have told you right now. The western part is known as Punjab plain. Remembered, the western part of northern plain is known as Punjab plain. It is formed by the river Indus and its tributaries like Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Satluj and Beas. This region, that is the Punjab region, has many doabs, that is, the area between the two rivers. The largest part is in Pakistan. The second part or the second section of this northern plain is the Ganga plain, extend between the Ghagar and Tista river. It enters the plain at Haridwar. It is joined by many tributaries. The main right bank tributaries are the Yamuna, Gandak and Kosi. Now the number third section of this northern plain is Brahmaputra plain. The Brahmaputra river enters India at Arunachal Pradesh. After a long distance, join the Ganga in Bangladesh. Here, they flow by the name of Padma. They finally drain into Bay of Bengal and make the largest delta of the world, that is the Sundarban. Again, according to the variation in leaf features and soil, this northern plain can be subdivided into four regions, that is Bhavar, Tarai, Bangar and Khadar. Bhavar, it is a zone of porous and rocky soil made of debris brought down by the rivers from the high ranges. It extends to about 8 to 16 km parallel to the slope of Sivalik. All the streams disappear in the Bhavar region. The second division according to the relief features is the Tarai. Tarai lies to the south of the Bhavar. It is a wet, swampy and marshy region, and the region reappear in this region. Third one is Bangar. It is older alluvium. Northern plains are mostly made of Bangar composition. Khadar, the last division. The new alluvium deposits of the floodplains are called Khadar. The soil contains larger concentration of calcareous deposits called kankar. Students, sometimes there is a division between Bangar and Khadar are asked in the examination. Then remembered, Bangar is old alluvium soil and Khadar is a new alluvium soil. Bangar contains higher concentration of kankar modules with calcium carbonate in subsoil, whereas Khadar is a fine, more sandy and has lesser concentration of kankar nodules. Bangar is less fertile as it is not renewed frequently, whereas Khadar is more fertile and as renewed frequently. Bangar is found away from the rivers at a higher ground level, whereas Khadar is found near the river channels in deltas and floodplains. This is about the northern plain. Now our third physiographic division of India is the peninsular plateau. Actually, peninsular plateau is a roughly triangular in shape and is also known as Deccan Plateau. It has an undulating means not same, rough terrain with average of 600 meter. Eastern and western Ghats form the two sides and join to form southward pointing vertex of the triangle, and Vidya range and Satpura range form the third side. Actually, the peninsular plateau is composed of old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. It was formed due to the breaking of Gondwana land and is the oldest landmass of the world. Remembered? The northern western part of the peninsular plateau is covered by vast lava flows. When there are several flows of lava, they form terrace-like structure. They form the Deccan Trape. As I have written here, Deccan Trape are a large igneous province located on the Deccan Plateau of west central India. They are one of the largest volcanic features on earth. This Deccan Trape is rich in black soil. As we have divided the Himalayas mountain and northern plain like that, the peninsular plateau has also division. It was divided into two main divisions, that is the Central Highland and the Deccan Plateau. Central Highlands, this part of peninsular plateau lying to the north of the Narmada river, covering large part of Malwa Plateau. The Central Highlands are bounded by the Vindhya Range in the south, the Aravalli on the northwest, and finally merged with the Rocky Desert of Rajasthan. The eastern part is locally known as Bundelkhand and Bagelkhand. The Chota Nagpur Plateau marks the eastward extension of the plateau. The plateau is wider in the west and narrower in the east. The flow of the rivers flowing in this region is southwest to northeast, which shows it has a slope. Remembered, certain times there is a question arises from this sentence. The flow of the rivers flowing in the Central Highlands from southwest to northeast due to its slopeness in the northeastern region. The rivers draining this region are Chambal, Sindh, Betwa and Ken. Then the second division of this peninsular plateau is the Deccan Plateau, which lies to the south of the river Narmada. The Satpura Range forms the base in the north, and eastern extension is marked by Kaimur and Mahadev hills. It is triangular landmass. After this two division of peninsular plateau, as we see in the map that there are two parts or two sides of this peninsular plateau, that is the Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghat. Actually, the Western Ghat lie parallel to the western coast. The range starts from the border of Gujarat and Maharashtra, which are broader, but they gradually narrow down. They run for about 1,600 km in the states of Maharashtra, Gujarat, Goa, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. The Western Ghat is one of the world's 10 hottest biodiversity hotspot. Even there are certain passes like Pal Ghat, Thal Ghat and Bor Ghat in the Western Ghat. As you see here, the first one is here Thal Ghat, here is Bor Ghat and here is Pal Ghat. And despite of this ghat, the highest peak include Anai Modi. As you see here, here is Anai Malai, here is Anai Modi. This is the highest peak of this Western Ghat. And The second side of this peninsular plateau is the Eastern Ghat. The Eastern Ghat run from West Bengal in the north through Odisha, Andhra Pradesh to Tamil Nadu in the south. They are eroded and cut by rivers Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. At the south end of the Eastern Ghat are several ranges of low hills. They are discontinuous and irregular. Mahendragiri is the highest peak in the Eastern Ghat. As you see here in this diagram or map, here is Mahendragiri. This is the highest peak of Western Ghat. After this, it has certain other hills like Sevri and Javdi hills located in the southeast of the Eastern Ghat. See here, this one is Javdi hills and Sevri hills. Here is that both are located in the Eastern Ghat. It means in Eastern Ghat there are three major hills: Mahendragiri, this one is the highest, then after Javdri and Sevri. Even the Nilgiri Hills, which runs east from Western Ghat to the Kaveri River, is a forested corridor that connects Eastern and Western Ghat and across which the elephant population crosses the range between Eastern Ghat and Western Ghat. For today, I am going to conclude this video. Again tomorrow we will come and see the fourth division of physiographic division, that is the Great Indian Desert and the left portion of this physiographic division. Thank you.